Good morning. Welcome in to my channel. Thank you for being here. My name is Cynthia, and I kind of got out of the routine of doing my reading first thing in the morning, which works a lot better because if you try to do one in the afternoon and upload it, it just takes forever. The upload times are really bad in the afternoons, so especially the closer you get to the weekend. So even though I'm kind of wanting to get after it and go out for a walk, that's kind of what's been happening instead. I'm going to try to get back to doing it in the morning and walking afterwards so that this has a chance to upload a lot faster. So I had a message come through last night as I was falling asleep, and it was a clairaudient voice that said, first they're going to have to face the tribes, then they're going to have to face the grand jury. So there's something happening on a big scale for either a person or a company that has gotten themselves into some kind of legal trouble, and it involves tribal governance as well as typical U.S. legal system. So I don't know. We'll just see if that theme is what's going to be what comes out, or maybe that's just going to be confirmation for someone that's watching that that's happening. Someone's going to be brought to justice potentially. And that's all. Otherwise, I had a really nice visit from my uncle Grant and their dog Radar that I grew up with loving. He was a German Shepherd, and he was just amazing. He was an amazing dog, and I loved him. And I loved my uncle. And if you've been watching my channel, I posted about my uncle a lot this time last year. Oh my God, that's so interesting. It's this time last year that I started going to visit him on hospice. And I wonder if he was just coming through to thank me. He was with a new dog, but I kept calling it the dog Radar, and then saying, gosh, I'm sorry, I keep calling your new dog Radar. I don't know what that is. But then pretty soon in the dream, it really just was Radar. It was Radar, and we had a great relationship as a kid. He was so smart, and I would go and hide his ball somewhere while he was in another room. And then I would have him come in and I'd say, find the ball, Radar, find the ball. And he'd go everywhere looking for it and sniff it out. And it was really fun. He was a great dog. So yeah, thank you for coming to see me, Uncle Grant. This was my aunt's husband my aunt painted this. She was a wildlife painter, and her husband Grant is who I'm talking about. He was a pilot and a polymath, and really smart guy. He could be kind of a dick, honestly. He could be cruel at times, but he was very devoted to my aunt, very devoted up until the end. She had Lewy body dementia, and she swore him to secrecy, and he kept that. He didn't tell anyone, as painful as it was for everyone else to not understand what was going on or why we were being frozen out. It's like, oh my God, that's what was going on. And he kept that secret the whole time for her. So that's devotion, for good or bad. He was very loyal to her, right? And vice versa. Actually, I just kind of got an idea to start with these. So I got that message about the grand jury and the tribes, and someone's going to have to face both. It's not a one or the other. They're going to have to face tribal government, and they're also going to have to face some kind of a grand jury or something. Let's see if any words come out here that shed any light on that for anyone, or names, whatever, right? Looks like we've got Heather. Tear, like teardrop or tear. Mute, Someone might stand mute before the judge. Rag. TJ. Heat. Her heat. Tether. Heal. This process might bring some healing, or there might be people that need healing. I'm kind of starting to feel like this might be some kind of a homicide, honestly. I'm very sorry, I don't know what this is, but that's kind of what it's giving. Truth, which often that's what happens as a result of a trial. Someone's determining the truth, the legal truth of a situation. Jewel. That's nice. I'd have to go ahead and close the window, unfortunately. I was enjoying the fresh air, but... Eat. All right, I think that's that. So there might be some messages in there for somebody, but I feel like that message I was picking up about the grand jury pulling those tiles started making me think there might have been some type of a homicide that we're thinking about here. Oh my God, those people are never up this early working. It's like they're intentionally fucking with me. They can hear me doing a reading, so they decided to get their fucking power tools out. Yes, that's unfortunate. I would have loved to have the window open, but that's okay. On my way out of here, so I just have to let shit like that go. So now let's just see what cards we pull here. Sorry, I feel like I'm getting off to a little bit of a slow start. Maybe I'm just tripping though. What else to know about this situation, Spirit? What else to know? My name is Cynthia. I have been reading cards since I was 15, and I'm also a licensed clinical social worker in private practice. I'm happy you're here. Thank you for being here. Oh my God, that's obnoxious. That's really gonna annoy me. But those are the things that annoy me that I've had to learn. Like, all it's doing is destroying your own peace if you can't let it go. I've really had to... Noise is aggravating often to trauma survivors. That's why they move to the country. That's why I moved to the country. And then it's like, yeah, but there's still mad fucking noise everywhere with these fucking power tools. Keep the torch lit. Sing to clear your throat chakra and lift your spirits. Look for what is being left out. What is the missing element? That's what this is. This is some kind of a course. It's a court case. And I feel like this is going to be for members of this person's family. Or loved ones as they face the justice system or the injustice system, depending on how you look at it. And this is like a message of confirmation and possibly of hope for you to keep going, keep your torch lit for your missing loved one or your murdered loved one. sing or use music and use your speech and your words to help healing in the situation, and then seek what is being left out, what's missing, which is often what happens in like an investigation, right? You're seeking the missing information in order to bring your case. And one more. Guard your inner vein of gold. Artemis and Actaeon shield your energy. So as you go through this kind of a criminal process, it's going to be really important that you're very careful about how you're spending your time, protecting your time, protecting your energy, protecting your heart, including from things like if this is going to get any kind of exposure from media, from bad actors that just want a piece of the information and aren't necessarily caring about your loved one's memory, right? So now what else? Let's see what else here for this situation. What do we need to know? Picking up on a court case here that involves tribal government as well as not a district attorney, but a grand jury. What's happening here? What does this collective need to know about this situation? I have myrrh and copal burning this morning. Two of Swords. So this might be at a stopping point right now where everybody's taking stock and assessing the situation for this. Things are coming into a more balanced state here as the starting point. You're going to have to be really careful and manage your energy and your resources as things begin to kind of go into a equal back and forth. That's going to be why, is if you're able to manage your resources. You're going to have choices here, and then in the facts position is the Magician card. So the Magician card in a situation like this could mean a lot of different things. It could mean a really skilled attorney that's going to come in and do the magic work of getting justice for this person. They might be highly, highly skilled in the legal system, right? It might also be that you're going to a spiritual practitioner to pray for assistance and pray for justice, right? Lighting a candle, doing the things that you do with your spiritual leaders in order to seek justice in the spiritual world as well as on the earth plane, right? But we'll keep going because there might be more to this Magician. Yeah, this involves a death. It involves something that is illegal. This looks like it was some kind of a crime between a couple. There's going to be justice here, okay? There's going to be justice, but you might at times, you have the resources that you need to seek this justice. It's been a very upsetting death process, whatever this case is going to be about. But what's striking me, because in the devil position here is the Knight of Cups, and so this is striking me as a lover in a shadow aspect, though, not in a healthy aspect because it's in the devil position. So you have the means to see this through, but you might be feeling a little bit alone in the equation and tired, okay? It's going to be a little bit of a long road with this whole process. You're going to have a choice maybe about who to work with, who you're going to choose to have come in and help you, or what ways you're going and methods you're going to use. This is weird. Like, I don't even have a cough right now, but I really feel it in my throat. Like, my throat's tightening up and closing up. You might be trying to decide, what are my methods going to be to seek justice? That's kind of coming through a little bit, because a magus is someone who's always kind of walking that straight edge. And so you might be trying to decide, maybe I'm not going to wait for the justice system, or I don't trust the justice system, so maybe I'm going to do something myself to see that this person goes down. That happens, right? Especially in communities where the cops don't care, or the cops don't investigate your loved ones' deaths, or your cops outright work against you or blame you for the crimes that they commit against you, right? This could be something like that as well, where there might be a power player who's being accused. I don't know, but that's just maybe for someone. So that's the situation you're in. Your strength is that this person's been caught. This person that committed this crime has been caught, and they're going to be brought to justice. They're going to go down for this. There's a lot of illusion present and a lot of choices and directions this can go right now, and it's got you feeling really overwhelmed. But the good news is you have the resources you need. You're just going to have to really guard them and choose wisely who you work with to pursue this, okay? That's what's coming through. Let's see what else. What happened here? Let's start with the Magus card. What's the Magus card in the Fax position? What do you need to understand about this Magician? Is this you trying to decide how you're going to approach it? Is it trying to choose who you're going to have help you pursue this case? It's coming to light what this person did. He tricked the family somehow, so he may have had everyone fooled, all right? That's the Magician. That's what it means here, is that he had everybody fooled. It was hidden for quite a while. There's been a long history of this. This might have been someone really close to you that committed this crime against another person that was really close to you. And so you're having this dawning recognition that, oh my God, this person was a complete charlatan, right? Like he had all of us fooled. He was a magician, like a dark one, right? Again, I don't even have an issue. Like I have literally no issues with I don't know where this is coming from. So it's in play. Yeah. This is someone that really did an amazing job fooling everyone. That's what I was going to say. That can be like a narcissist. Okay. Like a covert narcissist who's good looking or really charming and then has people fooled for years and has their little cadre of flying monkeys that they send out to, do their smear campaigns or else boost their image or whatever. Right. Yeah. Really crazy. What's the Seven of Cups here? It's interesting because I don't wear this orange very often, and orange is a color for a day of remembrance, often for truth and reconciliation. And so this, again, tribal government was mentioned. This might be something where in the past, historically, these kinds of cases would never have seen justice. And this is a new experience around a case like this, where now we have campaigns like this to raise awareness about legal and injustices in tribal communities and in the truth and reconciliation process. I believe that this is a process in Canada for truth and reconciliation, wearing orange, but I can't remember. But I don't wear this very often. It strikes me like and when I was putting it on, I was really conscious of it. Like, oh, this orange top. I'm wearing this orange top. Like I was thinking a lot about it, but I didn't even clue into that until right now. So that has relevance. What about this Hanged One position? It's saying that there's going to be some measure of justice and to keep the torch lit for the memory of your loved one. There may be worries, but there's good communication coming in and there's hope. Yeah, there's hope for justice, okay? Yeah, for this bad actor that committed this crime. I can't make it up. I'm sorry to say this also, but it may have been a crime involving SA as well. Let's burn more in memory of your lost loved one. I have some juniper here, and I'm going to put that on there to protect the process that you're going through as well, and ward off any negative influence to your case. What about this Seven of Cups here? What does that mean? Yeah, I don't know what is happening with my throat chakra. You might be feeling afraid to speak and to come forward. You might be really feeling like you don't know who you can trust because the throat chakra card came out, and my throat chakra is really going through something here as I'm trying to do this reading. He married your loved one, possibly. He swept them off their feet. He had dark motives the whole time, is what this is saying. He was highly manipulative, and there may have been something involved about money, like a life insurance policy. So, I'm so sorry. This is really hard to hear. There's just so many, I'm sorry. What else do you need to know about this? You're going to get justice. It's here. There's hope for justice. This is coming to light. If it's not getting attention in your community or nationally or in the media, it's going to. It's going to come to light what this person has done. What else do you need to know about where the energy is headed? It's the Nine of Wands, so you're feeling a little bit embattled by this whole thing. It might mean that you have to kind of push to be an advocate for your loved one's memory. Like when surviving loved ones of the crime victims continually keep their memory of their loved one alive. Keep hammering at the police. What new information is there, right? Getting billboards, passing out flyers, right? It might have been stuff like that that's gotten you to this point. What else do you need to know about this Nine of Wands? But you're succeeding because now this person's going to have to face some kind of justice. And it's not even just the mainstream justice system. It's the tribes that they're going to have to face. You're going to have choices about how to bring this to completion. And there's points where you've been worried that you're going to be left out and that your loved one's going to be forgotten. That's what brought you to this point. But going forward, you're going to have choices about how you bring this to trial, how you bring it to a completion, and how you bring peace back into your life. You're going to have options. It's here again. You may be juggling a lot, like lots of hearings, lots of fast-moving parts to process that you have to kind of find your way through, right? Because it's here in duplicate. Lots of choices emphasized. And there's going to be fears at times that you're going to get left behind or not be able to cover it. What else do you need to know? What about this person that committed this crime? What else about them? Yeah, they were a thief. Seven of Swords on the split. They fooled everyone, like we've seen here. They may have harmed your loved one because they wanted money, and it was going to yield them money, like through an insurance policy or an inheritance, like the home that they lived in that they could then sell, whatever, right? Ace of Wands. He used his charm to betray everyone. It's just right there. Oh no, sorry, that's the Ten of Wands, not Swords. He came in and seemed like he was going to unburden your loved one. He came in and seemed like he was going to help move things into a calmer place in their life. He was going to relieve them of their burdens, help calm their life out, be everything that they, saying that they're going to come in and be this rescuer, this lover that comes in and helps everything. And he had everybody fooled. He just did. Nobody knew what this person was capable of. It's been a very shocking, heartbreaking. Yeah, your loved one was an empress here, and he showed up and tried to act like he was going to make her life easier, swept her off her feet for sure as well. And I know that's very cliche, but if you're in a hardship point in your life, it's hard not to want a rescue. Okay, I'm just going to say that. I'm not trying to enforce gender stereotypes here. But he did. He used the fact that your loved one was this sort of open-hearted, hardworking, willing to carry heavy loads for her loved ones, right? Like, he showed up with this, like, let me take care of it. I've got this. I'm a magician, right? I can make anything happen. I can solve all your problems. Let me unburden you with this and help you move into a calmer place. That was the story he sold everybody. Okay. Who was your loved one? Who was she? What, or he, right? Gender doesn't matter, but I am kind of picking up on that this person that committed this crime was a crime against a woman. A man who committed a crime against a woman. This could also be, this just came through for somebody else. This could also be a way bigger process where the Knight of Cups actually represents our system of U.S. government, and this is the U.S. government or Canadian government's relationship with the tribes themselves, that political groups acting in the name of the official governing body committed crimes against tribes that now is going to have to come to light and be brought to justice, both from a grand jury and from a tribal government, like our truth and reconciliation process, like this color orange. This could be that for someone, okay? And the Empress here represents the abundance of the Americas and the New World. Not the New World, I don't like that term, but you know what I mean? The Americas, Turtle Island. And everybody came in and saw it as just this huge opportunity to unburden themselves from their lives back in Europe or whatever, right? And what ended up happening was just, right, this kind of dark magic, basically, of colonization. That could be another way of looking at that. Who is your person? And that's certainly the legacy in play here, especially if this is a white person's crime against an indigenous woman. That's the legacy. That's the micro version of the macro experience of genocidal colonization, okay? What was your loved one? Who was she? Let's experience her a little bit and not focus so much on the criminal here. Who was your loved one? What's important for us to know about her so that we can say her name in a way, right? In effect, by honoring her here. Oh my God, that's right. Intimate partner violence came through last night also in a different, like not quite at the same time that I was having that clairaudient voice say they'll have to face a grand jury and the tribes. Oh, your loved one is being shown here as the Ace of Pentacles and the Sun. She was a very, very beautiful. She might have been a child. My God, I'm so sorry. God, I hope. King of Swords. This could either be someone that you knew in childhood. There was an injustice committed against this your person, and for some of you it was a child, and I just feel terrible. So again, truth and reconciliation. This could be like a boarding school message, okay, about the boarding schools, which I'm not going to get into here, but you should Google them. They were forced assimilation mechanisms of genocide, okay, that took Native children from their families and placed them in boarding schools, government boarding schools. The King of Swords here in the reverse, which typically I don't read reversals, but it's coming through here very specifically, strikes me as an injustice that was committed against this person by an official body, right? Like a governing body. And your loved one was a child, okay? We're talking about children here. And there's been no apology. And this is possibly going to be an apology process, a truth and reconciliation process. For some, okay, this is going to have resonance on that scale, but also this could very much be speaking to someone about their personal situation and a murder of a loved one or a murder of a child, okay, and then you're now having to face all of these legal processes that are about to unfold. It's been quite overwhelming. What's important to know, though, is the beautiful spirit of the people that are gone and are not with us. The sun, while it's showing the sun as like this is all coming to light now, it's also showing it in the beauty of the spirits of these people that have been harmed by this. They were children or very young, youthful people to have their lives snatched or impacted in such a difficult way. My God. With Death card, there were deaths in the boarding school. Okay, this is really intense. I need to burn. This is intense. This is heavy. I really feel it in my heart. I'm sending out love and care and justice energy to you. What else do we need to understand about this truth and reconciliation or legal proceeding, court case surrounding a murder? Sending love up to this memory of these people who were harmed in this equation, whoever and wherever they are. Just sending my prayers up and my respect up to their memories. What do we need to know about this situation? There's some weird, surprising cards here. I'm just going to say that. Oh, never mind. No, there aren't. I mean, milk and honey is here. There's going to be some positive things to come out of this. Like maybe a reunion with some people you haven't seen in a long time is kind of coming through that bring you a lot of joy. This could also look something like Leonard Peltier being released, even though he was released on house arrest. That's... being at home in his homelands is going to feel like milk and honey compared to an imprisonment, right? Breathe, card 29. Although I'm sure he's going to be going through major adjustment. I can't speak for him or his family, but I can only imagine what kind of an adjustment process is happening for them as they face the injustice of his imprisonment for so long, right? Even though there's a little bit of a measure of peace for them now. Inertia, laziness, and apathy are signs not of slowing down, but of decay and lifelessness. Do something to shake this off. Go outside for some air. A walk in nature will remind you that all of life is ensouled and magical. Get some exercise, move out of your head and into your body. Breathe in deeply. Each breath is precious. So, I mean, I feel like nobody's being stagnant here. But it's important to do the advice that it was given because it's important for your self-care, to breathe, to rest, to remember the things that are beautiful in life, the memory of your loved ones, the beauty of nature, right? The beauty of loved ones who are still with us, the milk and honey of love and relationships that we can support. Why? Well, first I'll read milk and honey. I'm hoping someone needs to hear this and it doesn't feel inappropriate, because it's important to remember to keep your torch lit. Guard your energy. See this through and look for the positives, right? Milk and honey. You've entered a sweet time, enjoying the land of milk and honey that everyone wants to experience. It's an interlude that feels more languid than ambitious, when all your senses are awake to the unlimited possibilities. These times are precious, as they only come when you're in your authentic zone, wearing the world as a loose garment, not wanting yet able to be nourished in ways both tangible and subtle. Abundance is an energy that you are a living part of. All your needs are being met. You are given the gift of nourishment in every form. So you're going to be giving or you're going to be getting all of the support that you need to see this through in a safe way, in a way that helps you feel like maybe there's hope after all for some form of justice for my community, for my daughter, for my child, for my sister, right? Like for the women of this town, whatever it looks like, right? What else? Why in the upright, card 31? There is great power in understanding your motives right now. The oracle asks you to be very clear about why you are asking the question, looking for the answer, behaving in this way, and most important, making this choice. Knowing your why is the key to fulfillment. When you are clear about it, your intention will then be a magnet for miracles. Motives define the nature of your experience. When you think about something, feel it, and then act on it. This invisible why is the life force energy within the seed, which brings it to life and holds the potential for growth. So, oh my God, I have a ton of goosebumps because this why card is falling right here at this Ace of Pentacles and the Sun card. You're doing this because of the precious memory of those lives that have been lost. Because of the memory of your life. I have chills. They're working alongside you in the higher realms to bring this stuff to light and to bring justice. And it's very hard to imagine justice in times like this because we're in such dangerous times. This is saying, this is why we keep going, so that, mourn the dead, fight like hell for the living, right? This is why we keep going, because their lives matter and mattered. And then 46, regeneration in the reverse. Endings come in many forms, and now is the time to stop holding on. And now is the time to stop holding on to what must die so that something better can take its place. Nature's cycles include disease, decay, death, and regeneration. Let whatever isn't working in your life die. Don't be afraid to face the facts. There is no need to struggle or grieve. Whatever your query, let it go. You're about to be reborn. So I take this to mean that if, liberating yourself, not from the memory of your loved ones or anything like that, or the pain that their loss has caused, but knowing when to liberate yourself from the struggle of that, possibly. You're going to see this case through, but then afterwards, how are you going to spend your time? Do you want to just give yourself the gift of peace away from the struggle, right? Or how can you allow your own rebirth to occur as you go through this difficult truth and reconciliation process of either a court case or some other type of proceeding. What else to know about this? What energy is present as this starts to happen? What do you need to know? What do you need to know? This deck tells a lot of truth. The Sun, which is here twice. With flowing hair, head wreathed with olive leaves, in the pride of his youth, in a pose of nobly restrained triumph, Apollo, the god of light and of fame, with his harmoniously formed body, captivating beauty, his gaze lost in infinity, meditates serenely on a dream of power in which he is possessed. The day luminary shines in the heavens and bathes the earth in its benignant warmth. This card represents the Father. It promises enlightenment for everything which it approaches. It is an indication of stability, power, strength, ambition, and success. It brings gold, always compels the earning or spending of money. It is a symbol of the Lord of life. So that strikes me as complex, right? Because it strikes me as very justice oriented and very powerful and very positive and very beautiful. But there's also like this undercurrent through that of like the Greeks and European conquering type layers. So there's layers to this, right? The ascending node, which is very positive. This is a very positive, the North Node here. A young and lively maiden, the child of fancy, filled with life and potent loveliness, with a noble and gracious movement, she raises a torch. My God, this is the memory of your loved one. Keep the torch lit in her memory. The bearer of sweet and pleasant things. This card indicates happy and pleasant events which are about to occur, bringing joy and satisfaction. It often means the coming of a long-awaited child. It's a sign of fruitfulness in all things. This is very positive omen for this situation. There's a potential for a lot of joy to come out of something that initially has been very painful. And then Gemini. This is also childlike energy. This is maybe striking me as some form of justice for Indigenous children that went to the boarding schools. I just have to say it because there's a lot of child energy coming through. And then here's the Father, like the government, the U.S. government tried to cast itself as like a great father or whatever. I feel like that's even what they called the president. So there's something to that, okay? And then Gemini, which involves youthful, joyful energy as well. And we're in Gemini season right now. This represents two little cherubim harmoniously united in their charming duality. They're smiling, planning to do subtle and refined things, holding the shaft of irony and the lyre of the arts, while retaining the rod of intellectual and sacred science. Gemini is masculine, convertible, fruitful, diurnal of the airy element. Subtle intellect, refined taste, arts, music, success in business. Harmonious relations between brothers and sisters. Yeah. Okay, so that's what is on the horizon here. This is going to have a positive outcome out of something quite painful. So I'll just pull one more card here, one or two more cards, and then I'll close this up. What are some good final messages for this reading? For justice for this, either someone who had a homicide committed against them, a partner, a wife, someone with Indigenous identity. It could also be the death of an Indigenous child or children, or it could be speaking to the truth and reconciliation process about the 60s scoop or the boarding school. You know, we're also looking at this happening in Gaza, okay, where their children's lives are in direct danger right now, thousands of them, due to famine. The international court tried to step in for Netanyahu, but I mean, it's not stopping him, clearly. So this card reading is predicting very positive outcomes here. So let's just see, what are some final messages? The bobcat and blackthorn, and the moth and eucalyptus, and both the cards came in the reverse. What are these final messages for us, Spirit, with the bobcat and blackthorn? You may have acted too hastily or in over your head. Notice what preparations might have served you and plan more carefully in the future. Bobcats are stealthy hunters, blending easily into their environment. They are independent creatures who can wait for hours for their prey, pouncing up to 10 feet at the right moment. The blackthorn is a thorny shrub covered in bittersweet berries called sloes. Associated with overcoming obstacles, the blackthorn's sharp spines provide shelter to vulnerable birds. According to lore, if blackthorn berries are plentiful, the coming winter will be severe. Traditionally harvested in late autumn, sloes provide nourishment in the form of jams, wines, and other hearty treats with which to patiently pass a harsh winter. So be careful not to act too quickly as you make these decisions, because it's important that you move very carefully and with a lot of discernment. That you may have to get through a couple of dark times here while this is unfolding. And then the moth and the eucalyptus. In the reverse. Your resistance to change is preventing from embracing your full potential. It's okay to let go and move forward, as painful as it may seem at first. Loosening your grip on the past will open the door to transformation. How can I be more accepting of change? The moth and eucalyptus is a number 13 for a reason. It mirrors the meaning of the death card in the traditional tarot deck, which we had here. These deaths causing this vulnerability, because it came through very literally. The death card rarely indicates literal death, but here it did. Marks the ending of some kind and provides us with the knowledge and power to let go. The moth shown here is the death's head hawk moth, named for the unique skull-like marking on its back. The death's head is nocturnal, and like all moths, it flies toward the light. Eucalyptus is a symbol of protection, and the oil from this plant can be used to guard against and soothe a variety of ailments. So, I do think it'll be important that whatever denial or struggle or trauma has stayed alive because of this traumatic loss and a feeling of injustice that kind of pervaded things. Sometimes trauma perpetuates trauma, right? And this is saying any inability in the past to let go or to find peace around this is going to be healed through this process. There are positive things that are about to start showing themselves to you about this process that are going to give you hope and help you to hang on and recognize maybe there is going to be some form of justice after all. I'm conscious of the fact that I'm speaking this as a white, settler colonial ancestry type person here. So I really want to be sure that I'm treading carefully on a subject like this, because I don't have the healing answers. The healing comes from within the Indian community for something like this, right? Justice is good as well, though. Truth and reconciliation, if done properly, without re-traumatizing everyone, without helping them, and reconciliation can bring healing. It can also be done in a bad way, though. Like court cases that are just shams, that don't really produce anything. I'm not picking that up here. What I'm picking up here is that there is going to be a form of healing and justice, and maybe particularly because tribal governance is involved this time. And so there's power differential that's more in balance with the Six of Pentacles. It's not so one-sided with the federal government. So I hope this has been a helpful reading to someone, and that it's brought you the peace and the comfort that you need. And I'll see you tomorrow, which will be, these are timeless readings, but I'll see you tomorrow, Friday, for an upload and also probably a live tomorrow night. I've been enjoying doing lives on Friday night. So if you like live layouts, they're great opportunities to get maybe more specificity to what you're hoping to find out when you watch, or you might just enjoy hearing the stories like I do as well. So I'll see you next time. Thank you.